The only thing I'm seeing I'd like to put an amend on, perhaps a little more room here for the fixins. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh. The only thing I'm seeing I'd like to put an amend on, perhaps a little more room here for the fixins. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, we're gonna have a lot of fixins.
We're gonna have so many fucking fixins up in this motherfucker. This shit's gonna go through the roof, man. Oh. God damn, I'm shitting gold these days.
We made it. We made it.
The devil, the haters, the bloggers, the papers, the labels, they label me. But they can't relate to our struggle, my nigga. We came up from slavery. Apologies go out to all of my fans because they waited so patiently. This one is for all of the lost and forgotten black angels that pray for me. A million niggas love me because I'm ill. The greatest story ever told, niggas in the field. Solomon the Sambo, the Django is fact. I'm the Farrakhan of rap, and I get it from the wheel. The son of WD, who hung around in the deep, who ran around in the creek. The trap gods raised me, face all on the Sphinx, story all on the wall of the pyramids. Niggas know the black god saved me. You can blow the nose off, that won't change it. Obamacare won't heal all that anguish. We came a long way from the bottom of the boat. All praise to the MACD, we found our language. Gold necklace, middle finger erected. God Travis Shabazz, styling on the record. Lost sons of Muhammad, we wildin' in the record. The Shadu Allah and Lahad is the message. All these niggas I got to fight one. All these devils I got to strike some. All these rebels just waiting on the wall cry. Mama said, son, you got to strike drum. Rock nation, celebration, motivation, elevation. Nigga, we made it from slaves on the slave ship, live from the cotton field, straight to the spaceship.
Kind of makes me wonder why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
Hopped up a slave ship, popped up my chain and took it to Jacob. I gotta go play it. More than that bitch, like nigga, we made it. I own my own masters. No, I ain't missing no royalty statements. I can't be rated. Damn, host on them haters. Sorry, Mr. Drizzy, for so much y'all talk. Silly me rapping about shit that I really bought. Why these rappers rap about guns they ain't shot, and a bunch of other silly shit that they ain't got. I'm on my loop, beat up, young go. Stunting on stage after 12 years a slave. This ace of spade look like an Oscar. Black tux look like a mock. On. Y'all hella jealous of my melatonin. I can black out at any given moment. I'm God. Jesus, let it made, so I'm ready to chase a Yaku back in the cage. These are the last days, but do I sing phase? Showed up to the last supper, it's some brand new J's. I'm the true living, book a hole, new religion, ain't from the other world, alien superstition. You blind, baby, blind to the fact of who you are, maybe. My bloodline's crazy, kings and queens and Michael Jordan rings. I go stupido, sucio. The flow's filthy, y'all can't kill me. I've been inoculated from the snakes in the face and your corny handshakes. Cocksucker, we made it.
Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm here, your esoteric, mystical, spiritual, and occult guide. All the above. I, without wasting further time, would like to bring to the stage my special guest, as usual, Monique Ruffin and Divine Feminine Works. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having.
Hello. What's going on, everybody?
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your space. Yeah, I wanted to use that song as an intro because it's feeling very, how do I say, ladies, 2020-ish to me. It's feeling very like we're on the cusp of some very interesting changes, transformations, and a shift in overall awareness. And I think that we have to also honor that we made it through 2020. We survived the greatest psychological operation in history. And I think there's a little bit of gratitude that we have to have, not only for ourselves, but those of us that held the front line during those times. So I just want to acknowledge that real quick, that, you know, we have made it through, you know, literally a mental, emotional holocaust, an attack, if you will, on our senses. And we're still here. So I think that's a great reason to celebrate and know that whatever happens this year, whatever changes will come about, we will make it, we will survive. So just remember that we've already been through hell and we could go through hell again and survive and make it. How y'all doing?
I'm just listening with you taking it in like, huh?
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Am I in agreement with that? You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's all I can say is that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? I mean, I think we did make it, right? We're still here. We're still standing. So a lot of us, some of us didn't, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of us did,
Yeah. So
I'd
like
love to hear y'all opinion though. Yeah.
It's the first time me hearing it from that perspective. And I don't know that I've thought of it that way. Like, I felt like 2020 was the beginning of a whole new reality, a whole new era. So I don't know. I was thinking, like, I made it through my childhood. That's what I made it through. You know what I mean? Where the threat was real. You know what I'm saying? I made it through living in the house that I grew up in. That was real for me. These, the COVID people never had. That's not my reality at all. That was not a struggle for me in the least. The thought of getting a vaccination meant nothing to me. Like, I just never, I was around people though. So what I will say that I made it through was I made it through the fear story that everyone else around me was telling. Like, and I made it through being loving, compassionate, and authentic to myself. So that's how I can take that narrative on. But to me, that was just the beginning. Like, COVID is just the beginning, or that 2020 was the beginning of a new reality, which is what I heard you say. And so we're just getting started. We're just getting started. That's how I feel about it.
Right. I would have to agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like kind of like Mo, like I feel like I'm just in my own world. Like everything that's going on, I see it, I observe it, but I'm not in it. So it's kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant to me, but that's kind of how it feels sometimes. But yeah, I mean, the 2024 is actually a lead up to some really major changes coming up in 2025 and 2026. So like Mo said, it is literally just getting started. COVID and 2020, that was like a preview of what is to come. So yeah, I would have to agree with her sentiment.
Definitely. Yes, very foundational year for the changes and the transformation. I was talking to somebody and I was like, there's going to be a time in America where, and I had a dream about this last night. I download about it, but I had a dream about this last night. There's going to be a time in America where everybody's going to flee. It's going to become so bad here, and I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything. I'm just saying it's going to be a time here where it's going to be so bad that people are going to literally, like all these other countries, the quote unquote third world countries where people are fleeing now and coming to America. That's going to happen here. So yeah, it's very important for us to be spiritually prepared for these things. Want to ask y'all about.
Can I say something to what you just said? I'm sorry.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So
I like that I'm sparking thought. That's
okay.
dope.
Great.
Yeah.
We all get to create our reality.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, and we create our reality with our frequency. We create our reality with our attention and where we put our focus. And the universe is true to frequency. So people are going to create the reality that they are focused on. So if people are focused on chaos and fear and somebody out to get them and it being dangerous, that's going to be their reality. But if people are focused on that they are God, that they are commanding the reality, that they are bending the reality into love and peace and harmony, then that is going to be their reality. It is your choice. It is your choice. We are sovereign beings, and we are not subject to anything that we don't make ourselves subject to. Now, this is a new idea. We've not been taught this. Rob and Mel and I are teaching this. Rob, you know what I mean, right? So Rob is a Scorpio. So because he's a Scorpio, he has a perspective that is very Scorpionic. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? And I am a Virgo, and I have a perspective that is about climbing and perfecting. It is not about being stuck in the dark. It is not about, because we have power. The question is, how do we cultivate our power for times such as these?
Mm-hmm.
For times such as these. So that's what I will add to what you just said. That's all. Okay, thank you.
Right. I take it and I receive it all. And yeah, look, I need that perspective at times. I mean, I have the perspective personally that no matter what happens, I'm gonna make it. Like
Yes.
you, like you, Mo, I've been through hell and high water in my childhood, and COVID, like to me, like you said, was like, you know, we gonna make it, no matter what. I've been through so many things that a lot of the stuff that people are scared of is is light work to me. And I
Yeah.
think, but it comes through the work. You know,
Mhm.
I wasn't
Mhm.
always like this. I was very cynical and very pessimistic at one point. And like you said, that's part of being a Scorpio,
Mhm.
that, seeing sometimes the worst in people. And I'm blessed to have people in my life like yourself and other people that I surround myself with, Mel, that, will set things right for me and be like, look at it this way,
Mhm.
look at the perspective from this angle and from this idea. So yeah, you're right. You're right. This is really what's going on. And it goes into, what we're talking about today as far as the new moon in Aquarius and how that will show up in our lives. Well, actually, let's just get right into that. What are your perspectives on the new moon in Aquarius and how that goes in? Then we'll go into the transits and some of the current events.
Mhm. You got this, Mel. I've been talking a lot, so go ahead.
So we just had Pluto going into Aquarius. So everything is transformation. Transformation of the mindset mostly because Aquarius is an air sign. So with this new moon in Aquarius, it's planting seeds of the future and setting your mind to the type of future that you want, but not even just in a hopeful kind of way, in a very transformative kind of way. So this is one of those moons where I feel like you have to be really proactive and intentional about this. This isn't just, oh, it's another new moon, it's whatever. I feel like this is where the future is now.
Mhm.
And what does your future look like? And it starts off in the mind. And I feel like this new moon in Aquarius is where we plant those seeds right now, essentially.
Mhm.
Excellent.
That's very good.
Excellent.
Um, I that was perfect, Mel. I don't even know that I have anything to add to that. If I was going to, what I would say is that it's very important for people to be doing practices that seed their future. That's the thing. Like I feel like because of the way we've been enculturated, we've been taught to externalize everything. We've been taught to compete. We've been taught to focus on external things in the idea of our future. I want this in the future. This is going to make me feel. That's not what the future is. The future is I am this. So you have to plant the seeds inside of you of what is it to be successful, right? So if in the future you desire a relationship, let's just say that you have to become the person that is worthy of a relationship. Don't focus on finding someone, focus on being the one. This is a very subtle shift, but it is the most significant shift, and it is where the power is. And most of us are, I will be happy when I have this much money. No, become the person that makes that amount of money doing the thing that is going to benefit you and everybody else. The focus has to be internal. And that's what Mel said, change your mind. But the changing of the mind is an internal switch that brings your focus and your perspective to you. Aquarius governs the aspects on the body, right? Because here's the thing is we're creating everything through frequency, and the frequency is in our body, it's in our mind, right? So You have to become the person that is the thing you want to experience. Aquarius governs the cones of the eyes. Aquarius is the vision. What is your vision? Right? Your vision has to be held in your first eye, your third eye, pineal gland, and then that vision will project through the sun coming in. More light is coming in. That's why people are losing their shit, because more light is coming in from the sun. So more light comes in, and then when you have a vision, that will begin to project through your psyche into the reality. That's why I'm saying it doesn't matter if everybody around you is crazy, because if you are projecting the vision of who you are and you are doing the practices and the rituals. Rituals can look like, okay, I'm going to run a business. And maybe right now you don't run a business. Maybe you're working for somebody, but every day you will come home and put on your suit and just hold in your suit. Like, what will it feel like to run this business? Whatever it is, right? I want to be a mother. Okay, so maybe you don't even know anybody yet to have a baby with, right? But then you every day you will come home and nurture. What does it feel like to be a mother? What would a mother do? What would a mother what right? So and then you have to release the thought forms of not being that, right? So you can't be in your mind with worried about, oh, am I gonna meet somebody? Oh, am I gonna or oh, am I gonna ever have a chance to make a business? Oh my God, you can't do it that way. You have to be it already. That is the focus. This is this age of Aquarius, accessing your authenticity and doing it through a state of being and consciousness. All right. That's all.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting because I was reading that this particular new moon is 20 degrees in Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius is going to be for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really an interesting time where that particular energy of this air sign, like Aquarius being the water bearer and us being 75% water, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when water is heated, right? Just like a pot of water on, in the kettle, a pot in the or water in the kettle. When it's heated, it turns into vapor, it turns into air, it goes into the sky. And the new moon also pulls the tide, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's literally the new moon and the full moon is pulling water from our bodies into the air, which is how manifestation occurs. So this manifestation is going to be what we generate from within, what we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, what we feel, and what we act on, how we truly
Yes.
exist. Like I've heard you, Mo, talk about watching The Chosen recently,
Mm-hmm.
um, where it talks about the life of Christ. And this year, as corny as it sounds, it's really like a year of Christ consciousness. Like last
Mm-hmm.
year was about learning what it is, getting to the stage where you understand it. But this year, it's about being it. It's about
Mm-hmm.
actually actualizing those actions, because that's what's going to protect you. No matter what I say, Rob Blackstone, if I predict the world's going to end tomorrow, I'm going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go to the lands of Memento. That's my feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
everything happens, if literally fire and brimstone rains on the land, you have to have the idea that you're living in a way that is so universal, that is so unconditionally loving, that you will make it throughout whatever is happening. And
Mm-hmm.
that perspective is a God perspective. That perspective is a God body perspective. It's not about knowing what's going to happen next. It's not about
Yes.
the conspiracy that's going to happen. It's not
Yes.
about what the government's doing. It's not about the gender war. Who's this? Who's better, men or women or whatever like that? Because they're pumping the gender war heavy. What I'm realizing is, like, I'm looking at like business pages, and I'm like, they're gender warring on business pages, like Business Insider pages. And I'm like, they're promoting gender war ideas. I'm like, oh, the reason they're doing this because of engagement. People comment, people
Mm-hmm.
are in it, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
another way to divide and conquer us. And we have to realize that we all have light in us and we all have gone through things. Like the 20 degrees is significant because the 20 is two. It's man and feminine, even though the two is a feminine number, but it's masculine, start from the one and the two. So it's really a combination. And if you look at it that way, you realize that we need each other. There's positive and negative energies, but there's a polarity that is needed in the world. So even
Yeah.
the people that we think are wicked or evil, there's a light in them that just hasn't been cultivated. There's a light in them that has not been discovered yet or has not been exhibited. So I thought that was interesting to look at that 20-degree aspect and how it just correlates to, again, that 20 years of Pluto being in Aquarius.
Mhm. I
Any
think the
thoughts?
20th degree is also ruled by Pluto, if I'm not if I'm correct.
Okay, come on,
I
break it
think, let me,
down.
if I could
I'm gonna
find
figure it out.
my chart. Let me see. I have it somewhere. One of my cats could be on my phone. I think so. I think I can't find my phone right now. But yeah, I think it is because I have the sun at 20th degree, and yeah, it's a
Really? So do I. You're
yeah,
20-degree Virgo? Yeah.
uh,
Wow,
um
look at that.
and let me just make sure. 20 degrees is, yeah, it's a Pluto degree. Yep. And so it's and the last new moon was at 20 degrees, and this one, and they're going to be at 20 degrees for a while. And the thing about that so it's so all of these new moons are in 20 degrees, which means that there is a component of death, there's a component of the shadow, there's a component of transformation and alchemy, and it's a scorpionic degree. It's ruled by Scorpio, right? And so if you pay attention to your life, that's the thing. We got to pay attention to ourselves. What is transforming in you? What is dying in you? What is being alchemized in you? Like, I know for me, I'm having, like, my relationship to the 3D reality, to the external, to money, to food, my relation, like, my old way of being is completely collapsing, and it is very, very, very uncomfortable. It is torturous, honestly. But because I understand the astrology, I have a tool that allows me to be able to be with it. And because I have people in my life that I can call and say, hey, can you listen? Can you, it, people who aren't going to be like, well, that nigga did such and such and such, what I mean? People who are going to be like, well, how did you create that? What was going on? What is it that you're getting from this? You know what I mean? Like, because I have people in my life who have done who are doing the work to mature themselves, we can have elevated conversations about shadowy things. And so yeah, so think about your life. Think about your life. Think about what's happening. Think about the stories you're telling about it. Something happens. What are you saying about it? Are you being like, they did this, or are you going, where did I do this? This is how you bring the energy back to yourself. This is how you grow your power.
What say you, Mel? You got something bubbling in the subconscious.
um So the number 2 also denotes choice. And it's like all of these new moons, we're all at sort of like an impasse. We're all at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the old world, the new world, and that's on a micro level and a macro level as well, right? You can feed into everything that you're seeing on the news. You can feed into the hysteria and the scarcity and all that, right? Or you can decide, listen, I'm raising my elevation and this is where I'm living right now, right? And then on a micro level, it's like so many of us, like Mo said, are experiencing ego deaths or just death to who we were, period, in totality. But we're being presented with opportunities where it's like, well, which one are you going to choose? Because many of us we've got sort of one foot in and one foot out. And so are you, and many of us may even be, I know I am, I'm experiencing the same exact experiences, just in a way that's allowing me to make a different choice. Or I guess I'm more cognizant of the fact that I can make a different choice. And I think that many of us are experiencing the same thing. So it's like, okay, this same thing is coming back around. And like Mo said, you could be like, oh, well, this person's doing this, or this is happening again. This person's always like this. Or is it like, no, how am I showing up to the party? Why is this situation continuously showing up for me? Because it's something that's within me that's being projected via this person or via this situation. And now I have a choice. I can plant a new seed, I can plant a different seed, or I can continue on that same path and see where that gets me. But the interesting thing is that if you continue to plant the same seeds, you're going to get so much farther and farther and farther away from the things that you want, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
just us that are elevating, it's the frequency of earth. So the
Mm-hmm.
things that you may have even wanted or enjoyed before, they're not going to be around anymore. Like, this is one of these do or die situations where it's like you evolve or die, basically. So all of these new moons, and like Mo said, the last new moon in Capricorn was at 20 degrees. I believe
Mm,
the next one in Pisces is going to be at 20 degrees also. So we are
mm.
consistently being given a choice. What are you going to do? What are you going to pick? Which way are you going? So it's a transitionary kind of time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's an important time nonetheless. But you have to be really intentional about what you are doing and what seeds that you're planting right now.
What
Wow.
you gonna do? Gonna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers.
Man,
Right.
we're getting hit with all these new moons. And new moons are significant because it's about planting a new seed. It's about planting a new seed. So this Aquarius new moon, I am, I run a community where we do this work for the whole year. We're constantly doing it. So I set an intention around this time before the new moon, because you want to, like, if you want to get pregnant, you have like 3 days when a woman is really
I'm with.
receptive to being pregnancy, right? To being pregnant. All the other days are just practice, right? But so we want to set our intentions right before the new moon, because your psyche is more receptive because it is in the dark. When we are in the dark, that's when the new moon is the feminine in my reality, because that is the receptivity. The darkness is receptive. And then the full moon is giving, right? So that's masculine. But so I think my goal is going to be something like, I'm so ecstatic that I feel deserving of all the good things and all the achievements that my soul has come here to do, right? I feel so deserving to support people through their own healing journeys. I feel so deserving to be true to my codes, to live a sovereign life, being who I'm meant to be, not who my mama told me to be or who they said black women are or whatever it is. Like that, none of that has nothing to do with me. I'm in this chaotic reality and I'm true to myself, right? So we set these goals and objectives because that is how we're telling the universe where we are in location in this cosmic thing. That's
Yeah,
how we do it. Okay.
definitely. Yeah, this is a time where thoughts become things, words become worlds, and emotions manifest here on Earth. And I think the more we concentrate, like you guys are saying, on the inner world, right, the inner self, and really harnessing how the world or the things in the world reflect back on us, because everything is really a reflection of us and our perception, right? How we feel, how we think about things is really a reflection of ourselves, and those things are the things that we will bring in. And it's almost like this year, like I've seen certain situations where, there's people that I know that are, let's just say street people, right? And, they're like experiencing like serious karma, based on their actions, right? People who are not spiritually elevated, so to speak, and they're experiencing like these karmic things that are like hitting them right now, and they're like, what's going on? Like they don't understand, and it's like you have to, like you were saying, with all these solar flares, we're in a solar cycle 25 now, all this light that's hitting the planet, you have to meet that in some
Mhm.
way, shape, form, or capacity. But Aquarius, the dark side, so to speak, is also, it's a fixed sign. So you could stay stuck in bearing the same water that you've been
Mhm.
bearing, for all these years, and not want to move, not want to change, not want to transform, think everything is good, as it was. And this is really not a time for that. This is really a time where adaptability is the most intelligent thing you could do. And the most intelligent way you could live is to be malleable. Be water, my friend. You know,
Yes.
like the whole theme of Aquarius, water bearing. Be water, like be willing to shift and adjust on the fly, right? And in order to have that, you have to have strong communication with spirit. You're not going to be able to do it just in this physical avatar. It has to be something that's within. You have to stir the waters within yourself. And that goes through doing the Kundalini work, doing the meditation work, doing the breath work, right? Doing these things that are going to stimulate the inner self. Reading books is great. Listening to audio books is great. But the only way you really spiritual has the word ritual in it for a reason. So the only reason you really know if you're having spiritual progress is based on what occurs in your life and how you handle it. That's the only way you really understand if you are truly a spiritual being. And this year is going to present some challenges to all of us. And see, you know, how we take it is really going to determine, you know, are we really a spiritual being, or are we just, you know, knowledgeable people who are feeding our ego and, you know, trying to impress our neighbors or the people on the internet with what we know.
Well said.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
It's gonna be so good when we look back and we look like we did it. Now we
we made it, right? That's the
we
theme.
made it, and we're different for it. We made
Yes.
that. We transformed. Our powers are alive. We follow our intuition. We're connected to God's source. We are living in our purpose. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. And aligning with others, because that's another theme
Yes.
of Aquarius.
Right.
Like helping the collective, you know, your purpose, helping the collective and how that looks, and forming collectives and units, you know, like how
Yes.
you have, you know, Mo, your community and how we're
Follow the
developing
sun.
different
Yes,
communities,
that is
you know,
exactly what we are.
with those type of things where follow the sun is like a big thing now, you know, it's like
Yes.
this is expanding to other communities. And I
Yes.
think also with religions, like I think, you know, to a degree, there's a lot of hate on the Abrahamic religions that we have to let go of. You know, Harriet Tubman was a Christian. Denmark Vesey was a Christian. You know, Nat Turner was a Christian. Frederick Douglass was a Christian. There was a time where, you know, people didn't have books. They didn't have the means of studying, you know, metaphysics or
They had the
decoding
internet,
things.
right?
Yeah, they didn't have the internet, right? They didn't
Yeah.
have libraries that they could go to. Reading was banned. So the only thing they had was their preacher, right? Telling them the word and their DNA,
That's right.
where it held their ancestral memories, their ancestral cultures and customs, and the ability to source that through prayer. So,
Because Harriet Tubman followed the stars.
fact.
Harriet
So,
Tubman was an astrologer.
right?
Yeah.
That is
Right.
true.
So was Nat Turner, right? Nat Turner, he saw an eclipse, and that was his inspiration to start his revolution, right? Where he was killing the plantation owners, right, and running through. Same thing with Denmark Vesey. He saw a celestial event, which caused him to, you know, inspire to start his revolution. So we always been aligned with the stars, right? We've just been taught to follow the different stars, right? The stars of the earth, right? The terrestrial stars instead of the celestial stars, right? But the real celebrity or the celebration is when we are in a
That part.
line, you know, with what's actually going on in nature, which are the celestial events. Even if you look at like the Egyptians, right? Like they have a huge astrological wheel in the Temple of Dendera. You look up and that's what you see, like the 12 signs of the zodiac, right? The different aspects related to different deities and gods, because these events are what's supposed to propel us forward, is what helps us grow. It's the same way, like Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, right? The ancient ruler is Saturn. The word etymology of the word Saturn means to sow. It also deals with agriculture, which deals with cycles, events, you know, following natural cycles. Now, you could try to wing it and do what you want to do whenever you want to do it, but how's that been benefiting the planet? How's that benefiting humanity? How's that benefiting the earth, right? It seemed like when people were following the cycles of nature and humanity, it was a much more peaceful earth. People were much more collaborative. People were much more willing to, quote unquote, fight and be more aggressive against the powers that be for whatever their time period were. The people that actually were aligned with nature and natural events. Even if you look at the word pagan, it deals with people that were are the people of the field, the people of the forest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's very, I think it's very much time that we really align with thoughts and emotions and what those really look like. And the best way to really understand that is through our relationships, our
Mm-hmm.
intimate and otherwise relationships, what those things look like,
Mm-hmm.
and how we're into our interplay with people that are in our lives and extended for our lives, like our perceptions. Are they Christ-like? You know, do they look like unconditional love? Do we really are we really looking at namaste, right? Do we
Mm-hmm.
really see the God within people?
Right. It's the thing that has been supportive to me in this last several years of my life in studying is understanding that we have been in the dark ages for the last 5,000 years. And meaning the sun has not been penetrating the earth. We've not been getting as much light. And that is a natural cycle. So it allows me to on some level, it allows me to let us off the hook. Like, oh, all of these systems and all of this behavior is because we are in response to not having light in our psyche.
That's good.
And what we have seen is the people who can thrive without light because we're all made differently, right? So some people don't need as much sunlight to function, but they're still their behaviors are very base because they don't. It's like they function off the darkness. Let's say it that way. It's as if they.
Right.
And I'm not trying to make it. And this is not all. It's just the way it is. It's
It's
just
just
you
facts. Yeah, it's
know
just facts.
Right. Like some fish can do better at the bottom of the ocean, and some fish do better at the top, right? It's just how it is, right? So we have been in the dark ages. The people who have been able to function better in the dark ages have had the game. They've been winning the game. And now the dark ages are over. But it even though it's already happened celestially, it hasn't happened in our physical beings because we are light beings. So we have to now update our software. We have to update our software in our psyches. And that is a hands on job. The environment is a part of it because, you'll see we start using technology for things that we didn't use technology before. Like when we go to the grocery store now, like there's nobody there ringing you up. You got to just get it yourself. We're going into fast food places where there's one person working there and you can just order your food. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that that stuff is going to force us into new ways of being because there are not as many of those jobs available because technology is now taking over, but those people are still here. So what are they going to do? Right. And the more of us that grow, the more of us that we will create new industries and new ways of being and new that will then also move the economy, right? But it's important for us to really understand that we are just in a transformational time.
Yeah.
And the less we finger point and blame, and this is a challenging one for me because I'd be on one about white people. I really do. I just be like, whoa, Lord, help me, help me, help me. And that's when Spirit told me, well, this is the dark ages. And the dark ages is that experience. And everybody gets an A+. They get an A fucking plus. They get an A+. They get an A+.
Yeah. If you think about Pisces, right? The age of Pisces is a fish, right? There's two
Yeah,
fish. Fish are underwater. They don't need that
yep,
much light, you
that's
know?
right. That's
So
right.
that's
They
just the age that we
they
were
did
in.
that shit. They excelled. They did it. They won. Okay,
Hmm.
now what we gonna do for the golden age? What
Hmm.
we gonna do? What we gonna do? Not that it's a competition, but if it's a game.
Hey, you know,
Right.
we all gotta balance the scales, right? We gotta
Yeah,
balance the scale. So
that's right.
To piggyback off your point, Mo,
Mhm,
with this being with more light, the more the brighter the light, the darker the shadows. And that's
mhm,
why
mm,
so many people are losing their shit right now because when you're in the dark, you don't see your shadows. Nobody
Mhm.
sees them, right? So everyone's
Yeah.
walking around all fucked up, and it's okay, right? We
Right.
function that way. But now everyone's like, damn, like this is what my childhood was like, or wow, like this how I am in relationships, and people
Mhm.
are really losing their shit. And the
Yeah.
thing with Aquarius, not just the new moon in Aquarius, but the age of Aquarius, it's all about improvement.
Mhm.
Aquarius is all about innovation and improvement. And so this is the age where we're not just experiencing technological improvements, we're experiencing personal improvement. Like that
Mhm.
is a must now. That is why, let me not say why, but I think that the fact that it coincides with more light is showing us that we're being given the opportunity to improve ourselves. And that's the very definition of evolution. Like, I think that people read about evolution in school and they're like, oh, that's nice. But no, we're living it right now.
Yes.
Like, whether you think it or not, like your life may be going to shit and you're like, oh, I don't get it. It's because you're supposed to improve, you're supposed
Mhm.
to evolve. That's why I
Mhm.
said before, the things that you were used to, the things, even the things you're used to enjoy, just like you said, they have grocery stores now where nobody works anymore.
Mhm.
You just, you self scan everything. If you're looking to go to the grocery store and talk to a cashier, like that shit don't exist anymore,
Mhm.
right? So you have to evolve. Like I said before, it's evolve or die.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there's so many people who contracted to check out right now. Like they were like, yeah, no, I'm not, I ain't
Yeah.
with the shit. Like this is
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
gonna watch from the sidelines. I'm gonna help my people from the other side, but
Mhm.
the time is now. The future is now. Like this work is, you cannot escape it.
Right.
You could have escaped it before, but you cannot under any circumstances escape it now.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
for
So you
those of us who've been
brought
doing
it
the
down.
work, like this shit is about to be real interesting. Like get your
Mhm.
popcorn because you're gonna see everything dismantle. People are gonna dismantle. Everything is just going to crumble. And then, I really think it's people like us who are gonna be the forerunners of this new earth,
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
showing people the way, helping people heal
Yes.
themselves, helping people understand what this is. Because again,
Yes.
some people are probably like, what has gone on? The things I used to do in the past that worked for me are not
Mhm.
working anymore. And I don't know what to do now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why
Yeah.
it's not
That's what
just
I'm seeing
us,
with my
but so
people. That's
many
what I'm seeing
like
with
us.
people. Yeah.
So many people like us,
Good
it's
enough.
necessary. Like if you have that calling, if you had like you need to know your purpose now. It's not just for you. It's not just
That's
to have a
right.
great life. It's not just to manifest the things that you want. Like people need you. There are people in the dark who need your light. They need your personality. They need your guidance.
Yes. The
So the
creator
time is
needs
now.
you. The
Facts.
creator
Mm.
needs you. The
Yes.
earth needs you. The trees, the mountains, the oceans, like we need to wake up into the understanding of oneness because it's literally like a firecracker. Like when one wakes up, then it's a domino effect, right? So it's important. That's been one of my greatest things is to understand that I deserve to thrive doing the work that I do because I'm in service to humanity. I'm in service to consciousness expanding, consciousness growing. And we've not valued that before now.
Right.
That stuff has been thankless, right? Like it's the person who's praying, like my grandmother prayed for my whole family and we are healing because of it, but nobody was calling her saying, grandma, thank you for praying for me to pass that test. Like everybody just takes that stuff for granted.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we move consciousness forward when we see the the power and the untapped potential in another because we have done the healing in ourselves. And then we can hold that person in our consciousness to who they are authentically, not to how they're behaving, not to their fears and their doubts, not to their family legacies, but we hold them to, I see what you're capable of. I see it, even though you don't see it. I see your future in you. And so I'm going to speak to you from that perspective. I'm going to witness you from that perspective. That is how we do it for one another as we do it for ourselves. And it's a mighty call at this time because folks look really dark.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. That's namaste for real. Like seeing the light in each other, seeing the truth in each other, regardless of race, culture, creed, or origin. And that's a tough call. You know, that's like you said, Mo. That's a tough call, especially when you're dealing with people from the lighter side. You know, and knowing the history and things like that. But at the same time, they're waking up too.
Yep.
And you know, historically, from my perspective, you know, they are our children. You know,
Yes, they are.
melanated people can make white people. This is not, you know, not being divisive or whatever. It's just the truth. But reverse can't happen, right? The reverse kids, it's impossible. Recessive genes cannot create the dominant genes. It doesn't happen that way. So if these people are our children, right? And we see that, like, you know, if you go to a hip hop concert, they're the people in the front. You know, if you go to an R&B concert, they're the people in the front. Right, buying the most expensive tickets. You know what I'm saying? Sitting front row. If you go to the NBA, look at the finals and things like that. NFL, look at the Super Bowl. People got the best seats for people that don't look like us.
That's right. You go to our plays. When I go see plays in Los Angeles, black written, all that, filled with white people. Sometimes the contents are so deeply black and personal that I'm like, it shouldn't be nobody in here but black people.
Yeah. I went to a Kwanzaa event in Apollo, and I was surprised because I've never been to Apollo. You know, I lived in New York all my life. That was my first time going to the Apollo, and I was surprised to see how many Caucasian people were in the front 2 rows. Like, I was flabbergasted. I was telling my sister, I was like, we both went. I was like, what the hell is going on? It was like, yeah, they love our stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we are the vanguards, whether we know it or not, whether we want to be or not. That is part of our responsibility. But if we are acting like nobles, like the Moors, you know, were the people who went and spread, you know, told people how to eat and stop people from, you know, having toilets and, you know, stopped and just civilized.
Made them civilized.
Yeah, about the Dark Ages, you know. So we have to take this planet out of the Dark Ages, and it's only going to be us, and it's only going to be us that recognize the divinity within ourselves so that we can propel that out and being light in a situation. Like, I'm not even allowing people to gossip really around me anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about somebody. Oh, okay. All right. I hear you. Oh, cool. All right. But what's the next idea? Well, look, I got this idea about doing such and such. Or, you know, I see this, like you said, I see you could do XYZ and shifting the conversation to things that are more progressive, more idea orientated, more oriented, more things that, you know, like you said, seeing the light, seeing the most high in all of us, right? And what that could bring to the earth. Because really that's what it's about, right? And really that's where we're going regardless. Now, whether you choose to ride that wave or not, it's up to you. But that's where the planet is going. That's why all these events are happening. That's why, you know, in places where it's hot, it's cold, you know, with solar flares, right? These hurricanes, these different wars and all over the world, Gaza, the Congo, Haiti, all these uprisings, Venezuela. I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think about this migrant situation and how they're getting all these different, you know, monetary gains? They're giving them like housing in Maine.
That. Like in New York, they're getting them like prepaid credit cards, right?
Prepaid credit cards. They're also housing some in Maine. They just beat up a cop in New York. Like literally, the migrants was beating up a cop.
Where are they from? Migrants from where?
Most of them are from Venezuela. But what I've discovered living here in New York is that a lot of them are Haitian too. There's a lot of Haitian migrants. There's a lot of dark-skinned Venezuelans, right, that speak Spanish. They don't show that on the news, but a lot of them are dark-skinned. Now, I know I go to the gym, and a lot of them got gym memberships, and they really going in there to shower, right? They're really going in there to shower. Like every morning I see like 4, 5, 6 of them, different ones, going in the shower and going in to change their clothes, you know, because a lot of them don't have stable places to live. And they, you know, gallivanting around the gym, not doing nothing, just sitting in different spots. But yeah, that's what I see happening here. What do you guys think about that? What's your perspective? And does the astrology support any of this? I should ask also.
Well, Pluto, America had its Pluto return, so America is over. You know what I mean? The America we have known is over. So that's the general thing of it is, all of these sort of, what's the word when you're very into your country?
Nationalism.
Nationalism.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that nationalism shit is over
Patriotism.
with. Yeah, all
Yeah.
that it's done,
Yeah.
and so and I feel like America, if it were not for us, for Black people, like we literally built this country subconsciously. Like that's why we we built it. So the old systems are about to crumble, and we are going to create a new we're just going to create, because that's who we are. Like I remember when I was like when I started seeing all this stuff in the astrology, and this is scare me. And I remember thinking about my age, and I was like, oh shit, I'm only like 40 something. Like I could be here another 50 or 60 years. Like, what I'm gonna do? And like, it's like we are going to be here. What are we going to do? I'm gonna build a new world. I'm gonna build a
Right.
new world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
that's what I
serious.
think about it.
What do you think, Mel?
I don't really know. I mean, if you want to talk about it like on a mundane level, there's obviously some sort of agenda behind that, right? Like it can't be, oh, just come in and we're giving you all these things. Like
Right.
there feels like there could be something sinister behind it. What that is, I don't know. But more on a macro kind of level, of course, like the dynamics of the United States are changing because of the United States Pluto return. So everything that was undercover, it's like everything about the United States is being unearthed right now. And I'm sure that this migrant situation is playing right into that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like you guys said, alluding to as well. I think on a micro level, the still tied to Aquarius. I think on a micro level, it's like the Democrats are definitely trying to get more votes, and going to use the migrant to try to up their base, because people are like not really feeling the Democratic Party right now. And it's not to say the Republic Party is better either, because they're both just two wings of the same bird, right? People are like, oh, Trump's going to save the world. Like, okay, really? Like, you like really Trump is like your savior? That's the guy, because he's not going to let in migrants. Like, no, they're both playing just different sides and appealing to different things. You can't have a dictator be your savior at the same time. It doesn't work that way. Especially somebody as feeble-minded, as easily manipulated as Trump. All you got to do is tell Trump he's the best, and he's going to support you. And it doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your culture. Like as a salesperson, I'm like, I wish I could talk to Trump. Like he's the most easily.
He's a Gemini.
He's so easy to manipulate.
Very much a Gemini.
He's such an egomaniac. All you got to do is really stare.
And I believe
rich white Gemini.
And I believe his son is on the star Regulus. So that's like the king. That's why he's so egotistical, because he was born to be that way. Like, I feel like, I mean, this isn't a political conversation, but regardless of what he does or doesn't do, he serves a very specific purpose. Very specific purpose that I think a lot of people are misinterpreting, which is why they're like, oh my God, he's the savior. He's going to do. No, he is just, Lucifer is a light bringer. And that's his job. And he does it very well, I should say. But, it just shows you that I really believe that in the next couple of years, what we know as the government here is not going to exist anymore. It's going to be some weird, I don't know. I don't even know what it's going to be. But all of this is to show you that what you thought was stable, what you thought was it, is not it.
Yep.
What are the aspects? Oh, go ahead, Mo.
I was going to just say, they're in California. They're really rolling out this reparations thing, and I think now they're voting on it. $2 million for each family. Wow. And so that's because I'm really clear that they can't clean up. Like you have to course correct your ills, right? And so California is really moving forward, that I know of. Not just so that's
they have one in New York too. They're starting a committee here in New York as well, and they just gave Holocaust survivors some more money here in New York City, $150 million.
But the Holocaust survivors, we don't owe them anything. So
Right.
Okay, I'm just reporting the
I
news.
understand what you're saying. I don't like
The messenger.
that's robbery. That's not reparations.
Well,
That
you already
is
know.
that's
It's not.
robbery. So
It's no coincidence that there's war in Israel, and all of a sudden they're giving Holocaust survivors in New York,
right, because
$153 million
right,
package.
which is some whole dark magic shit. You know.
Exactly. Dark occultism, but that's why their
Mhm,
tunnels got exposed there in Brooklyn. So,
mhm,
Right.
this, and that's why they're doing battle in tunnels right now in Gaza, literally.
mhm,
Like they're
mhm,
battling Gaza, people in Gaza in tunnels. So it's all, correlated to, just the fall of America overall,
mhm,
which is
mhm,
what's happening, and the fall of Western homogeny,
mhm.
overall. That time is up, those times is over. I want to talk about this before we get out of here. Uranus squared in Taurus is one of the transits that's happening now. Any
Uranus
insight
square what?
in Taurus,
But square what? You said
The
Uranus.
new moon.
the new
Oh,
moon?
square moon. Okay. Mhm.
Hmm.
Go, Mel.
Oh.
I mean, I can go if you want me to, but I'm okay.
So Uranus and Taurus, it's all about shaking you out of your comfort zone. Like, like how I was saying before, like what you thought was it is not it. Like Uranus and Taurus is showing you that that's not it. But it's this element of perhaps wanting to be comfortable, wanting to adhere to what what you're comfortable with, and then planting these seeds of the future. That's why it's a square. So it's probably this feeling of, all right, I know I want this in the future, right? You may even have the best of intentions, but at the same time, you're like, but I don't know how. I'm so used to this. Because I don't know what the future looks like. It's a very uncomfortable place to be. So it's almost like you have to, and Uranus is all about intuition. I always call Uranus the hand of God because that's how it's things out of our control. And I feel like with Uranus square this new moon, there may be things in your immediate environment that are out of your control, things that happen surprisingly, or your intuition suddenly it's heightened and you're being told, do this, do that, or whatever. And you're like, I don't know because I don't know what the future looks like. I'm used to this, but now there's this whole new world. And so I feel like you kind of just have to lean into that, lean into your intuition, allow yourself to be shaken out of your comfort zone, and understand that just because you can't see the future doesn't mean that it's going to be bad. You create it, right?
Mhm,
That's also Uranus is also creative energy,
mhm,
creation in terms of, that's why I call it the hand of God. So you have to really tap into that creative energy and be willing to venture out of your comfort zone, especially at this new moon.
I don't have anything to add. That's great.
What?
Mhm.
No. You surmised that perfectly. Yeah, I agree. Like your comfort zone, like Taurus is comfort. Uranus
Mhm,
is shocking things. So yeah, like your comfort zone, like Uranus is also corresponding to Shango, right?
mhm,
Which is your will. So no matter what happens on the outside world, it's who you are that will ultimately shine. Like, what are you secure in? What are you steady in? What is your soul resonating on? What really is your frequency? What really is your energy? What really is your vibration? And if you can maintain a high vibration, no matter what's going on, and you tap into your spiritual tools, numerology, astrology,
mhm,
um, human design, right? Some of these things that will help you understand who you are and how to generate your own energy, your own electromagnetic field, which is your
mhm,
protection. No matter what happens in the world, you'll know you'll be all right. But not letting any outside of event shake you, take you
mhm,
off your square, take you off your foundation, so to speak. So I think that's what the square is about. And a lot of unexpected events are going to happen to you personally on a macro, on a micro, and outside in the world on a macro,
mhm.
right?
Okay, now I have some of that. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay. So, how to embody this energy is the question because Uranus is in Taurus. So, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, which is this
Okay.
future, in Taurus, which is your physical body, your physical, it's in your system, it's your sensory system. So, that means when things come up that would throw you into an old pattern, you have to catch yourself. So some of the things that I do in order to move energy, like I use lemon juice and cayenne pepper every morning with Celtic sea salt to wash out the old ways of being, the old programs, the old codes in my blood. Cayenne cleans the blood. So, you know, the liver, like cleaning out the liver, like, because it's literally like you need to be a new house. And so you want to deconstruct the house without, you want to build a new house and deconstruct, you know, in the same place, right? Because you're not going to lose your physical body. You're still going to be, but you want to do the work to transform it on the inside. And if you use herbs and things to help you do that, that's how you avoid having to get sick. That's because when you're piling up and you're holding on to stuff and stuff your mama did and stuff your daddy did or what he said or your divorce husband or what, all those things we're holding on to keep us in the same ways of being.
Yeah.
So you have to do forgiveness work, which begins to shift your mind. And then you want to recode the mind. So you need to take some herbs to help your body release the old stuff and sort of, you know, lymphatic work, right? Helping your lymphs clean out, like all of this stuff, because you have to renew your structure. You have to renew your structure from the inside out.
Cleanse your temple. Yeah,
Yeah.
cleanse your temple. Yeah, I've been. It's funny that you said that because I've been taking hyssop. I've been drinking hyssop like every morning, and hyssop, reading the Bible, like it's all about cleansing. You know, cleansing yourself, and you're within. That and Kinkaliba tea. Those are the two I've been alternating with, along with my St. John's wort for to help keep my frequency, keep my mood elevated in these winter months. And yeah, like you said, like the herbs are the key, and I'm glad you brought that up. Herbs are definitely the key. And if you could tap into that herb work, drinking teas and, really cleansing your body. Like if you need to take a colon cleanse, like do that. Dr. Missions, you go to Dr. Missions and get a colon cleanse. It's a Black man who created that. Great colon cleanse, drink it in the morning, and it'll start, flushing you out and get some of those toxins. Because a lot of the times people just go to talk therapy, right? So they'll go to a counselor and they think that's it. But how many people have we seen go to talk therapy that no cap are still pieces of shit, afterwards, right?
I was gonna say they're still full of shit. Literally too.
Right. For years, they've been going to therapy. So that's not enough. We need a more holistic, somatic, where we're moving the body, where we're cleansing, like you said, the lymph, the liver, cleansing our organs so we can produce, it's like an organ, produce new sounds of frequency. We live in a light and sound universe primarily. So we need to produce new organs so that we could align with nature and the oneness of the universe and be vessels of God. We are the vessel of God. Do you not, 1 Corinthians 3:16, do you not know that you are the temple of God, right? It's not written in your law. So you have to cleanse the physical body as well, not just the mental body, right? It has to be a holistic, a yin and a yang, so to speak. Last thing, and I'll let you guys go. There are 4 signs in this new moon in Aquarius. There's the sun in Aquarius, the moon, Pluto, and Mercury. We didn't talk about Mercury. How does Mercury factor into all of this?
So Mercury is ideas, communication, it's your mental state. That's what's being upgraded, that's what's being improved, that is what is being transformed right now. So it's not just that's where it starts. It starts in the mind.
I like to say that Mercury is the story you're telling about reality, right? Because I know I do it. As soon as I see something, I have a story about it. I see Rob, I'm like, oh, that's a dark skinned brother. I see Mel, I'm like, oh, she's a brown sister with long hair. Like that's a story. That's a story, because that's those things I just said are all conditioned identities. And the more you tell those stories of the conditioned identity, the more you stay in that reality. The truth of the matter is that this Rob is God in the form of this being. Mel is goddess in the form of this being. That's what's true. This is light in the form of these two beings. And because of the ultraviolet light, they have different complexions. That's it. You know what I mean? Like that's what's really true, right? But the conditioned story. So Mercury is the story you're telling about reality. When you look in the mirror, what are you saying about yourself? So that's the story. So with Mercury in this, we get to transform our story. We get to access a new level of story, a new mind. We get to transform our minds. It's very powerful. And I want y'all to know that these jewels that we dropping on y'all right now, this is worth money. I mean, this is priceless. This is priceless, right?
Say it
This,
louder for the people in the
this
back.
is priceless wisdom and information because I don't, it's, yeah, that's all I got to say. Okay.
Yeah, no, I say, and amen, rock to all of that, right? We definitely, yeah, these jewels are worth money, and it's really like, you know, kind of sounds like the same thing, but really like write down your story, look at your life, really be serious about what happened to you, your childhood trauma. Like I've really been focusing on childhood trauma, the little boy, the youth that had father wasn't there, when he was around, he wasn't really as communicative. My mother, the different ways she would go about manipulating and just how they were in survival mode, and trying to make it in America and things like that, and how it affected me, and really just healing those different aspects of your childhood. And the only way you could
And
do that is through
how
solitude.
you felt
Yeah,
about it, right? Because it's the
right.
feelings that help you heal it. It's not the intellectualizing. It's not just the
No.
story. You have to go, oh, I felt like this when my mother wasn't around. And then you have to feel it. And then you might be
Yeah.
crying. You might be depressed because
Yeah.
you have to move that energy through the body, right? Okay.
Yeah. You can't heal what you don't reveal. And if you
That's
don't
right.
face it, if
Right.
I don't go back to those moments, with the first girlfriend that broke my heart, or the first, situation where I felt disappointed, or, when I thought Santa was coming and Santa wasn't coming, when my dad said, yo, I'm gonna come through and he didn't come through. Like if I don't go through those moments and face them, and like you said, the emotions and how it
Mhm.
feels, and really transcribe that energy and create a new story, which is what
Yes.
Mercury is all about in this Aquarius thing, like you're saying, Mo and Mel, like creating a new story, creating a new narrative for yourself, and realizing I'm big now. I'm
Mhm.
grown now. I don't
Mhm.
have to accept those feelings anymore. I don't have to
Mhm.
accept that way of being anymore. I don't have to be conditioned according to those situations. I could create a brand new reality for myself. I create a brand new perspective on how I see my parents, on how I see my life, on how
Mhm.
I cope with life, on how I
Mhm.
cope with people and interact with people who exhibit some of those same characteristics. I
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
have to maintain that story. I could tell myself a good news story.
Mhm.
So that's where the Mercury aspect, like y'all are saying, are coming in and really communicating those things to yourself. And the only way you could do it is by taking time, solitude, silence, and going within. You're not going to get it off YouTube. As great as we are, as phenomenal as the three of us are together, right?
Mhm.
The holy trinity of the internet. You're not going to get it just from us, right? We could give you the tools, but you got to run the play, right? And this new moon is the time for that. Right? It's not just going to be about lighting candles and burning herbs. All those things will help, right? It really is going to have to. Those things are going to drive you to look within this year,
Mhm.
because it's a build and destroy. You either going to ride on the side of God, or you're going to be buried with the demons, right? That's
Mhm.
just what it is. It's just that type of time period, right?
Mhm.
You gotta have that mama mentality, that Kobe mentality, where you're gonna work on yourself and be disciplined. Saturn, right? That Capricorn type energy, that Aquarius, which is the ancient ruler of Capricorn, discipline, structure, having rituals for yourself, like Mo was saying, or you're
Mhm.
gonna be out here loose, waving with the wind, right?
Mhm.
Flowing just like everybody else, waiting for the next conspiracy.
Somebody on here saying, just gotta say, Brother Rod in real time is an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah, shout out to Foxy. We met yesterday. I went to an event. I didn't even bring that up. We went to an event with
Mhm.
Black Dot, Urban X, and Blue Pill. Sure people seen Blue Pill on the internet, right?
Mhm.
Most people know what Blue Pill is. and Black Dot. And yeah, it was a great event, really great event. Just talking about creating new myths, creating a new mythology for ourselves, right? New mythos that need to be created, new stories, and understanding that it's time to create a, like I saw, speaking of, like I was watching the Book of Clarence, right? And I hated that movie. I hate that movie with all my heart and soul, right? And I don't use the word hate lightly, right? And a lot of people entertained about it. A lot of people like it, but I'm tired of seeing that same mythos where you losing, where melanated people are losing, even if it's a Christ story being put on a stake, and all the Romans are white, all the people that's following Jesus are black, and there's that same dichotomy, and at the end, it's a loss, regardless if he gets resurrected or whatever the case is. It's a fucking loss. I don't care if you make Jesus black and he's acting like Neo. It's a fucking loss. Like, and the new myth is God can't be us continuously losing. It can't be, oh, look what they're doing to us. It can't be, oh, the migrants beat up the cops. That would never happen. We would never. No, like we could do that shit too, right? There's a time and place for everything, and they're showing that this is going to be the time where these old structures are going to be challenged. Right? They're going to fall, but it has to be us resonating with a different frequency and a different vibration to understand that we can rise up. We can oppose the old way of being. And it doesn't have to be via violence. All we need is an altar, some intentions, some meditations, and putting these frequencies into the universe and how we interact with each other. So shout out to Foxy. Yeah, we had a great night last night. It was a pleasure meeting her too. Yeah, we had a great night. And yeah, that's one of my things, like getting out the house, meeting people, and interacting, with people. And I think that's something we should all be doing, really meeting people in real time, like not, staying behind these screens is cool, but really touching people and interacting, because that's God work, that's what the Christ was doing with the prostitutes,
That's
the
right.
poor, the broken,
the tax collectors, everybody was welcome. Everybody.
And if you look at the modern church, those are the people they're looking down on.
The modern church is so backwards.
Right.
Like literally, they're all Pharisees. They've all become the Pharisees who Jesus Christ was actually against. I don't want to say all of them have, because I don't know them all, but the things I hear, finger pointing and all that, it's like Jesus was not about any of that.
No. Even studying the Moors, like I realized, like they say the Moors were just Islamic, but Islam just means submitting to the will of God, right? So when they would create these temples, here and in the Americas, these mounds that are hidden now, right, that are in Mississippi and Chicago and all these states, right? It wasn't just so people could worship one religion. It was like whatever your way of life is around the world, the diaspora, right, is for you to be able to worship, right? For you to have your new moon, your full moon rituals, for you to be able to connect and submit to the will of God, to submit to the will of Allah. So it wasn't about just a religion. It was about actually being one with the universe. And whatever your faith was, you had the ability to congregate and come and be one. And, once these people came, they changed all that, right? Like a lot of Christians don't even realize how violent the Crusades was, how by force, they forced that cross on people, and they forced, their religion, even the Muslims, how they forced these religions upon people and made them do it. It wasn't love and light, right? It wasn't God's grace or Jesus' grace. No, it was by the sword and by the gun, So yeah, it's a very interesting time. It's God's time, and if you are really a spiritual being, it is your time, and the money will come, the success will come, the wishes will come, the desires will come, the dream. I just seen Mel in Colombia looking beautiful, hair blowing in the wind, beautiful things, looking like what I call the Melzelda Blanco, looking like she's moving keys and shit.
Oh, that is so funny.
but this is that time. Even myself, I'm seeing a lot of successes in different ways. Even this channel, like the subscribers is up, the views is down, ironically, but I know they trying to do that too. But it ain't stopping YouTube. I'm still gonna keep dropping videos. I'm still gonna keep dropping information. Y'all ain't stopping it. So it's crazy. Like the subscribers is up crazy, but the views is down. But I understand what's going on, and they're doing that to a lot of us to keep us off the algorithm and things like that. But keep going. It's easy to scam, right? It's easy to hustle. It's easy to gender war. You're gonna get a lot of engagement. You're gonna get a lot of likes. You're gonna get a lot of people that are going to support you in the bullshit, and they may grow faster financially. They may be richer financially. They may be able to show you the trappings of the world, right? But it's just like Christ being tempted on a mountain, right? I could give you all the riches of the world, or you could choose to join and be one with God. So it's up to you what you feel is valuable, and you really have.
And you have to keep your point of view on what you feel is valuable. Since Rob got, you have to literally your point of view. I feel like Aquarius is the point of view. Like I feel like Aquarius governs point of view, like perspective, and it's important during this time with all of the chaos swirling to stay focused on your point of view. While all the chaos swirls, just stay focused on your point of view. Thank you, Philip Boone. So we were about to end. I don't know what's going on with Rob, but I actually have to go.
Right.
So he's gone. So
I guess we're running the show now.
Do you want to say where the people can find you?
Sure. DivineFeminineWorks.com. Divine Feminine Works on all platforms. I do live weekly and monthly astro forecasts every Monday and last Wednesday of every month. I do a whole bunch of astrology readings, all that good stuff. Again, you can find me at DivineFeminineWorks.com.
Thank you, Mel. You can find me at Monique Ruffin on Instagram and Facebook. And I also have a community called Follow the Sun, where I teach women how to use the phases of the moon to heal their trauma and draw their power. And I teach a 13 Moons class. I teach a Goddess Technology class. And Mel and I are going to be teaching Mercury retrograde this
year.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I gotta tap in. I'm gonna tap into that one for sure.
All right, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap in. Look, but you see, as soon as I talked about what was happening, right? You see what they did to me.
You got kicked off, yeah.
All right, so keep going, y'all. Keep going.
Right.
Keep going. Keep going. All right. Yeah. With that being said, peace, power, and prosperity. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button if that's brought you value. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see y'all later tonight. I got another video for y'all. Some numerology.
Bye, everyone.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.